What is up, party people? My name is Marshall Lee of Donkey Jaw Projects, and this is the official SHEcember send off. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed being a part of it, you guys and gals. If you did participate, and if you didn't, hey, there's still some hours left in the day of the last day of December, so all you gotta do is do it once and you've officially participated. So yeah. And if you just are an observer, that's cool too. Nothing wrong with that. Feel free to comment in this as we go, and I'll respond, and let me know how your SHEcember went. Did you learn some stuff? Did you do more drawing than you thought you would have? I know I have. There's definitely days where I probably wouldn't have done any drawing if it wasn't for the fact that I had to do some SHEcember. I will say, as soon as I put a pen on this paper and start drawing a girl, I will have officially done every single day of SHEcember. I didn't post every day, but that's not something you have to do within the rules that I set up. So, because some days I did art like this, which, it is what it is, but it's not something I really wanted to share. Like, this is all out of proportion, and then yesterday I did like this one and this one, which I did like, but I just didn't get around to posting it. So I don't know. But I did post a lot of the days. And, I did, I did work on art every day. I guess I could show you, like, my whole SHEcember thing. So this was, the last few days. And then this right here doesn't count. It's just some stuff I'm working on the cover for my next comic story, Attack of the Lizard Brain, which will be done soon. And then this is, you can see why I was doing this. I was doing like these screaming classic like horror ladies in preparation to possibly put something like that in this cover, so you can use it for that, development process. And this is just some sketches. This one I copied from the first issue of Amazing Age, just practicing. You can see right there, those two characters right here. Really cool comic of these guys from Alterna Comics. They put together this book, which is basically a story about how a kid used to draw comics, and then in high school he stopped. He wasn't drawing it so more because certain things happened, but then they kind of go into the life of, they get transported into the old comics he used to draw of him and his friends, and it actually is derived from the creator who made it, all his like original characters that he created. So here, anyways, that's not SHEcember. So this was one day. It wasn't much, but, I was trying to do some different head angles, and, it's not that good. I didn't post it. Some more here. Just trying to figure it out. This one was cool. Lady Vader. I kind of created that, I guess, because they said that in the Thrawn trilogies a lot. Let's see. This is Maz Kanata, another Rose from the new Star Wars, Last Jedi. I'm a big Star Wars fan, obviously. So I did some fan art. This was some more. I know this one was a copy of, what's his name? George Corona. Copy and trying to figure out how these people draw. I did a lot of bad drawings. Then I did some good ones. This one was pretty cool. This was when I was watching, my wife and I were watching Fiddler on the Roof, and there's this line in the song where he's singing, "If I were a rich man, Yeah, that whole thing. In one of the lines, he says something like, I want a wife with a proper double chin, and something about dancing like a flamingo or something. So I thought it would be funny. I don't know, it kind of, I don't know if funny, but it just kind of popped this image in my head, and I'm like, that would be fun to draw. So I did it. And I was trying to color it too, but I never got around to it, like digitally coloring it. I never got around to finishing it. This is just some other stuff from Fiddler that's not SHEcember, obviously, but you know, I was practicing. Here's one of the girls from Fiddler on the roof. Some gesture sketches. That was probably one day of SHEcember that I didn't post because it was just some gestures. This one was fun, from an old Superman comic with his daughter, apparently, and you know, it was cool to draw a little girl at this age and you know, kind of figure out how the proportions and stuff work, and so I was just copying from that comic. I remember this day I was super tired and I just like scribbled something and it came out like that. She's holding a bowling ball. I don't know why. So, and then some more gestures. Another day trying to work on some face proportions. Not very well. Probably another tired night. Gestures. These ones I went a little further with the gesture. More gestures. This was from White Christmas. What's her name? Rosemary Clooney. This turned out to look like one of the girls from Grey's Anatomy. But it wasn't meant to be. But I had been watching that, so it was probably just kind of accidentally made it happen. A lot of times watching TV and I'll just draw from that. Alita Battle Angel. I really wanted to do a nice like Alita Battle Angel piece because the movie's trailer just came out and I love the book, and I don't know, for some reason it never worked out. This was just a reference from Pinterest for the day of laughing. That's when I was actually still paying attention to the prompts a little. I think I did a video on this. You could check back in my feed to find it. Some more kind of laughing references. This one I actually drew before SHEcember started, but I inked it for SHEcember. Just a fun little thing that came. That's not SHEcember. Let's see. This is just some gesture drawings. Furiosa from Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road. This is another thing of me trying to do a cartoon version of Battle Angel Alita. I'm still working on mine as we speak. Busy schedule because of the holidays. Getting sick. Oh man, why'd it go away? Oh, here it is. Didn't help with this challenge. I did try new things and practiced a lot, and I'm glad to have things maybe I'll continue that. That's cool, man. I mean, that's the point, you know, is learning and doing a little more art than maybe you had, you know, we're going to, and yeah, it's tough to do stuff when you're sick, so I totally get it. This I don't think had anything to do with SHEcember. Maybe that little sketch, that's about it. And here's some gesture stuff, and that's about it for SHEcember so far. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do some more sketching today. Things I carry over. Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you participating though, and checking in, because you know, that's what it's all about, just encouraging people to do this art stuff and get better and all that fun stuff. So it's fun, you know. Alright, so what should I draw now? Well, I got Pinterest loaded up, so I'll probably just start doing some reference stuff from Pinterest. Found this image right here. So I'm going to be practicing that with that pretty young lady. Let's see. I guess I don't need to have these comics right here. They're kind of holding this up though, so maybe I will. Alright. So yeah, anybody else in the chat and whatnot, I would definitely love to hear what your Pinterest experience was. Was it helpful? Was it just something you did for fun? I'll say, man, there's a lot of participation. A lot, last year is when I kind of started this, but it was just a challenge for myself for the most part. I just was like trying to think of what I wanted to do in December. I felt like doing another challenge because I think I had done Inktober, and then I kind of took the month off, and I wasn't working on a challenge. I took the month off from challenges, and then I came back and I was like, well, I want to do something else, a little challenge, nothing too crazy. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna start. How about I'll draw girls, because I need to get better at drawing girls. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to come up with like a name like Inktober or something for this. And I was trying to come up with something, and my buddy Sam Axe, sorry, I said that wrong. Sam Axe is his name. It's just the way it's spelled. It looks like it should be Sam Axe, but it's Sam Axe. Hey man, he's a really good artist. Love his stuff. He's one of my favorites online, especially, but even everywhere. He's like really cool. I love his style. So anyways, he was like, how about SHEcember? And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I did that, and basically I did that the whole month, and it was fun. So I was also thinking that it would be cool to, I'm gonna move something for the cat. What in the world? Things are falling all over the place. I'm gonna move the curtain for the cat. He wants to jump up in the window. So, so yeah, I had fun doing that, but even during that, I was like, it would be cool to like extend this to other people, and some other people said they might join in, but nobody ended up doing it. It was because I didn't prepare well, so I figured this year I'll prepare better. And so I did a little promotion, a couple months before December, and it turned out that a lot of people ended up wanting to take part, and that was super awesome and fun and cool to see everybody's art. Yeah, I just had a blast with all that, so thank you everybody who did participate. That was really cool. I wonder if I'll go in with the blue pencil and then go back with just shape this stuff out, do it properly, do like an actual gesture sketch. It's always good to do it in this order: gesture, shape it out with form, and then go into detail. Go into detail too quick, I've said this a million times, but you go into detail too quick and you end up losing the life of it, and you end up messing up and having to erase a lot, and the proportions get all screwed up and all kinds of things. So it's good to get the forms in correctly and the gesture in correctly. And I often still, even though I've been preaching that basically for the last few years, I still go right into detail right away sometimes, a lot actually. It's just breaking it, it's like impossible to break a bad habit sometimes, it feels like. And I want to try my best not to go into super crazy detail with this. Like I want And this is another struggle that I really have, is I really just want to cartoonize like something I'm drawing from reference a lot of times. Like I just want it to be simple representation of what I'm seeing instead of trying to draw like something that's somewhat realistic, you know. I'm shooting for, you know, simplifying my style and stuff, so it's been a struggle to be honest, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it. Usually this thing has a big eraser on the back of it, but whatever. It's hard to see exactly where her shoulder lands here because it's hidden by her hand, which I guess, I don't know. Guess then I shouldn't have to worry about it, right? So we got the eyes will come in around here and here. Try to get that angle right. I always mess the angle up with that. And the eyebrows come up here. Again, I really just want to stick with the shapes while I'm doing this blue pencil thing. And then when I go into inks, I can get a little tighter. And then, let's see. Another thing is here I'm like already putting in features, and I really need to just be measuring these things out more. So usually the bottom of the nose tends to come with the bottom of the ear, and then the eyebrows do that. And we got to make sure we keep that perspective right, which a lot of times I don't do these steps and then I end up with really crappy drawings. And I think what I'm finding is I like to do the inside of the mouth first, like where the lips meet, and then I can shape around that. I haven't done that a lot of times in my life, so. And then, try to get that basic shape of the mouth. See, I often draw the mouth too close to the nose, and I have to like adjust things, or the chin is too long or not long enough. Still working on being disciplined to get the proportions right, So yeah, I'd love to, please let me know, your comments, your thoughts on the whole SHEcember challenge. Was it hard? Was it easy? Did you not participate? Even just if you have any things you want to talk about as far as drawing women, like anything that's hard or what you found that's helped, or I'm down for any kind of commentaries, y'all. Try to get the shape of this head wrap. Kind of goes around her ear a little bit on the top of her ear, so that's cool. A little less ear I have to draw. Guess it's easier to draw a head wrap than an ear. Ear, here. I don't know. I also make hip-hop music, so I like rap and stuff, so sometimes I say weird things like that because I'm used to always like playing with words and coming up with rhymes. So like I'll just say random things sometimes that people would probably think like, what the hell is he talking about? My wife knows what's going on. She gets it. She gets me. I really wanted to push myself to draw a bunch of different types of women with wide range of features, old, young, big nose, little nose, more masculine, more feminine. Yeah, me too, and I guess I probably didn't end up doing that. I did a little bit. Well, I did different ethnicities for sure. And then I did older and younger. And then I did like these classic style women. Let's see. Then, I did, like I was showing before, this one. So that's like obviously different type. I do want to do, like, I'd love to just like draw a ton of what would be known as overweight women. Other than, then I did like the little girl thing, and so I did it a little bit, but I certainly would have liked to do it a little more. That's different than the typical. So I guess I did mix it up a little bit, but yeah, I agree. I wanted to do more myself, and I really want to like draw all like different types of body types, and I want to learn how to, like, that's part of my struggle too, like I was saying before, like doing like the cartoon version. Like, it's easy to like draw from reference. I could get reference of different types, but like to kind of translate that into a certain style, more cartoon style, that's kind of where sometimes the difficulty lies. Thanks, yeah, I tried to switch it up. Hey, what's up, James? How you doing right now? Getting ready for some, the new year? What's everybody doing for the new year? Dude, what's your art goals? I did a video all about mine. You can check it out if you want. But basically, I'm going to be making comics. That's my main art goals. Just working on comics. You can see some of it right here. This is a page I've been penciling over the last few weeks. But just like, I only did a little bit like the last couple days. And then there was like a good like two or 3 weeks since I did that. And really simple pencils, but that's the second to last page of the lizard brain story, and the last page is going to be like this cool splash page, but it's going to be a lot of work because it's going to take place in a kid's room, so it's going to be like a messy kid's room, so I gotta like draw a lot of things. A lot of like, I don't know, how old is this kid, like 10, 11, 12, like maybe 12-year-old kid things, specific things. So we'll see how that goes. You wanted to drop SHEcember, but got too sick to do it. January. I think there might be one. Some people have suggested that to me, like doing a January version, or like, I mean, I even said with SHEcember you can do guys if you're not good at drawing guys and you want to practice that, and just call it SHEcember, and you can, you can tag it SHEcember, and that would be fine, if that's what you're trying to do. But obviously it's focused on drawing women. But some people were saying Manuary, and I think there might actually be an official Manuary somebody doing that with like a prompt list. It might be. I know some of my buddies actually posted, they created a manuary one, and it's like a prompt list, but they did it just for fun to just kind of goof on me a little bit. And it was like all this like really like ridiculous stuff, and it was funny. Oh, do. Yeah, no, I got it. I just didn't read it that way. But yeah. Sorry to hear you were sick, man. Hope you're feeling better. Both of you, actually. Alright. So let me get the rest of these arms in a little bit with just a tiny bit of detail, and then I'll ink over it with the ballpoint. I love drawing in ballpoint. A lot of times I go directly with ballpoint and use it like almost as like a pencil. This hand is gonna be fun. Hands are so complicated. Ah! Alright. Oh, she's got like a little neck thing. I didn't really even realize that. Little neck choker situation. She's also got necklaces. I suppose I could at least indicate that a little bit so I don't forget. She's got a cool little Africa medallion thing, it looks like. I don't know what this is. Looks like a heart or something. Probably isn't though, but whatever. Whatevs. Just a little bit of wispies going on there. Really beautiful lady. Alright, I want to get this hand kind of in the right position, and then I'll attach the arm. That's a kind of a thing that people do sometimes. If you haven't heard of this kind of technique, draw the hand first and then attach the arm after, and sometimes it works out better that way. Do 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 do. I feel like I kind of want to put some music on, but copyright, YouTube copyright issues. I could probably find some stuff that's not copyright issue, but I should be shaping this out a little more than I am here probably, but I'm not, because why? I don't know. I should be. Break my own rules. Alright. Alright, here we go again with the detail. Alright, let's stop doing what I'm not supposed to be doing. Do it right, Marshall. Jeez. Goodness gracious. Happy New Year, Eddie. What's up, Eddie? It's 2018 on this side of the planet. That's my buddy Eddie Crosby from Australia. And man, you really knocked it out of the park with SHEcember. I think you did every day, right? I think it was like the perfect challenge for you. Or I shouldn't even say challenge. I'm sure it wasn't even that much of a challenge. I don't know, maybe it was, but like you're already really great at drawing beautiful women. But I think of course we all, it's always good for us all to practice and maybe even help get you in the habit of doing more drawings, I don't know, more often or something. Maybe you already do that. I don't really know exactly. I see a lot of art from you, so I don't think you need a lot of it to help. But I saw that you were practicing like different proportions and stuff, and like going, into like some tutorial type stuff. So that was really cool. Not everybody did that. Some people did it. A lot of people just drew one like sketch, which is totally cool. But I think you were doing it similar to how I was, where I was going into some tutorials, doing some figure studies, things like that. It's helpful to learn. Good to see me drawing live. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's fun. I need to do it more. I probably will, coming in the year 2018. This year was just crazy. But I did do some stuff like that. Oh, cool. Glad the tutorials were helpful. Still have many hours to go here in New York. Yeah, I'm same boat, James. I'm in Connecticut, so we're right next door to each other. Are you in New York City or New York State? Doesn't matter. We're still both. Either way, we're right next to each other. I don't know why I have that song in my head. I'm not gonna say what song it is. Alright, I think that I've done enough shaping out of things. This arm looks weird, though. Tell you one thing I've learned from this challenge is I do really like drawing women. It's like I haven't, like, I don't know why, like growing up as a kid, like being into like superhero comics and stuff like that, like you just tend to draw all these muscly men, and I mean it's cool, like the way the body is structured and all those big bulgy muscles and action and Hulk smash and all that fun stuff, like it is cool. But it's like, why didn't I try to draw women more? I think maybe it was just because it was intimidating. And I mean, even just growing up as a kid, like as a a young teenage boy, like girls were intimidating. Like, you know, I didn't. I was deathly afraid of like asking a girl out or something like that. So even in that sense, but also just the fact of just drawing girls, like you have to be like, you know, you have to like have graceful lines, and I think a lot of times I tried to draw girls and failed really bad to the point where like they looked like they started to look more masculine because I didn't know things like not drawing too many lines on the face and stuff like that. Again, I want to remember here to not get too detailed. I really just want to make more of a cartoon representation. But I think I am going to go a little more on the realism side as far as proportion goes. But I really don't want to do like a detailed drawing here. She's got these like really nice long eyelashes. Obviously they're probably fake or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, and those are too big for, I don't think anybody's got eyelashes that big. But when you're drawing like comics and stuff, that doesn't even look that big, like that just looks normal. It's funny. Upstate. Okay, cool. Yep, neighbors. Yeah. There's a rapper who was involved with like the Christian hip hop scene for a while, from Albany, and he always used to shout out where he was from and stuff. And so I always, when I think of upstate New York, I always think of that. Um, this guy named Sev Static. He's still doing his thing. He's really cool dude. I actually made a beat for him at one point. Um, I don't know if he ever used it. I can't remember. I think he did. But drawing guys was always easy for me too. It took a good year of focusing on female anatomy to be comfortable drawing them. Yeah. Yep, that's why I'm doing the challenge, man. And I have difficulty with like noses too, like how to simplify noses, especially on women. Um, if you do it wrong, it can make somebody look pretty ugly. So, and if you draw too many lines, again, you're gonna run into that issue. Still trying to figure it out. Sometimes I've been trying to do some more representational stuff, like I don't know, I should say more simplified representational stuff. Copying from other comic artists, seeing what they do. So yeah, it's weird. Noses are weird. Ears are weird. Eyes aren't weird, but they're still very difficult. They can be. Starting to get a little more used to eyes, but I do royally screw them up plenty of times still, though. Trying to leave that space there, like right in that little edge a little more, or in the bottom. It definitely is helpful. Like, it definitely makes it look a lot better, in my opinion, when you do that. I was in a Christian metal band in high school. Roll on the floor. Really? That's cool, man. Yeah, I've always done like hip hop, and it's always been on a Christian type of thing, because of my faith and stuff. Christian music sometimes sucks, though. A lot of times Christian music sucks, but there's a lot of good stuff out there too that's really good, that I enjoy. It's gotten a lot better throughout the years. The cheese factor has gone down significantly, in my opinion. Ben Caldwell's book, Action Cartooning for Drawing Female Figures. That sounds like an awesome. You always have like the best suggestions, Eddie. I love it. So helpful. Action. I'm writing it down. Action cartooning for drawing females. Cool. Thanks, dude. Long time ago, yeah. Well, for a lot of us, the old high school stuff is a long time ago. I'm 38. I'm about to turn 39 in February. So yeah, I feel you. Do 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 do. Hopefully, it's funny. Like it seems like I never know if I did the eyes right until I'm like done. Cause I'll like measure it out and think I got it like all in the right place and stuff, and then I'll look at the drawing after and something's off center or not in perspective or one eye is way bigger than the other. I mean, in this one eye is bigger than the other, but there's this space here, so that kind of indicates it might be a little bigger. And also, this one's gonna be a little bit smaller because it's a little further away, but I did kind of screw it up. It's definitely bigger in the picture. Hopefully, it'll translate though differently. But I mean, again, it's a sketchbook. I mean, I always use that as an excuse, but then when I do my comics and stuff, I kind of let things go too, almost the same. So I don't know. I just gotta keep working at it and keep getting more patience. Patience is a big part of art. Like, get more patience and more just um, discipline and dedication to a good final project, or I don't know, product. I don't mean product in the sense of um, making money necessarily, but I mean like just what you've produced. I need to study more anatomy because I'm like sitting here trying to think, how does this thumb work? That's one thing that's interesting, drawing from reference, and you can see where anatomy really is a big deal because there's certain parts where you're like, okay, I'm trying to draw what I see, but I don't. If you don't understand how what you see works, you're still gonna a lot of times get it wrong. If you understand how the muscles work, because I notice when I do understand something that I have studied, how a muscle works or something, then I can place it better. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've always been pretty critical on the idea of, or not critical, skeptical on the idea of, is, you know, anatomy really that important? And I think, it's not just because I'm lazy, it's also because I want to learn the right things, and just because everybody says one thing is what you need to learn, I find a lot of times that what everybody says is not always right, But and I think, it's also depends on the timing too. Like, I might not be ready for anatomy sometimes, or like whatever, but I have finally grown to the point where I realize what the benefits of learning anatomy are. One thing I did realize, though, that's a little bit different than what I hear people say, is proportion. I don't hear people talk as much about, the importance of proportion. And I think a lot of times when people are criticizing other people's anatomy, they're actually criticizing their proportion. It's their proportion that's screwed up, not the anatomy. I mean, the anatomy might suffer as well, but a lot of times they're just happen to be specifically talking about an anatomy issue, or a proportion issue. So a lot of times people just get the word wrong, or maybe they're just not. Maybe they don't know the difference, between proportion and anatomy. Jan, what's up? You young people, how old are you, dude? You don't have to say. Any tips for drawing lips from 3/4 view? um, I don't know. I am doing that right now, and it seems to be working at the moment. But that underlying structure is like, I notice like right here, this side of the lips is definitely smaller than this side. So I noted that kind of intuitively in my head. It was not that intuitive. I literally thought that in my head. Um, and so that was one thing. Getting like the general shape, not like the full shape up front is a good idea. Yeah, just measuring out beforehand is the best thing that I can think of. And again, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I screwed up a lot. So I don't know. I can't think of any other specific things. If I do, I'll mention it. With hands, it's all about where the bones start and end. Learn that, and it gets easier. Okay, I'll note that for sure. I have looked into some anatomy stuff, the Proco stuff that's free, on hands and other stuff. But it's still, I mean, hands are easily one of the hardest things you could possibly draw because there's just so many positions, and if you draw, the rules for one position aren't always the same as the rules for the other position. I mean, the anatomy is always the same, but congratulations on completing SHEcember, Marshall. Take care and all the best. Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for participating and helping out. You're always super helpful, and yeah, thanks for participating, man, and congratulations to you too. I don't know if you did the full every day, but it looks like you probably did. And even if you didn't, just participating a little bit is success in my book. So, but I think you did. So, congratulations, dude. The animal ancient. You definitely don't look like when I see you on your videos, I feel like you're my same age. So, hopefully that comes across as a compliment. I was born in 197. 1970. I was born in 1979. Oh, you didn't have to say it, man. I wasn't trying to get it out of you from you, but yeah, 42. Yeah, so we're close in age. Yeah, you definitely don't seem old to me. I don't. Oh man, I think I've always been a little bit anxious about getting to 40. 30 not as much, a little bit though, but I think more 40 than anything. That's when I felt like, all right, now you're old, which literally next year, because yes, I'm 38 at the moment, but I'm going to be 39 in like literally 23 days. So, really next year I'm going to be 40, which is crazy. So like, but I don't feel like 40's old anymore. Maybe just because I just don't feel old, and because I see that people, do a lot of their most important work after 40, as creative people, and that's when you start, even so into your 50s is when sometimes you start getting your real focus that drives your real career. Sometimes, a lot of people have that similar story. So I'm a little less, freaked out about 40, but I'm still freaked out a little bit. Jack Kirby started at 44. Once it happens, you get over it. Yeah, it's the new 30. Same here, 1975 for me. Okay, see? My age doesn't bother me, it's just a number. Yeah. So, yeah, Jack Kirby started in 44. It's funny, people, I think that whole fact gets very convoluted. um, first of all, I've seen the meme a million times, and I've seen different ages, like 58 and 40, this and this. Like, I've seen different age numbers, but also, I think what they're talking about is he started working on Fantastic Four around, 44 or whatever age it was. Um, but he had already been a successful comic artist from like a very early age. It was like 20 or 30 years before that he created Captain America. He got in on comics like as a kid, basically. But you can tell when he created Captain America, like he was way not as good an artist. But there was something to him because he had something that made him be able to, make comics that sold really well. That everybody always went to him for, a hit comic, when they knew they needed to boost their sales and stuff. So him and what's his name? I always forget the guy he worked with. His name, something Simon or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know. He was already very successful. But yeah, it was around, I think, 40 or 50 or something. Maybe it was 44. Where him and Stan Lee created Fantastic Four, and then the Marvel Universe as we know it, basically. That was definitely, and then it was even after that when his style really, like what we know as Jack Kirby style, that that kind of blocky thing. It still wasn't even really that as developed yet in Fantastic Four. It was still a couple of years. That was like when it started to really develop, and he started to get into that more abstract blocky style. Before that, it was more of a classic, comic style, but still dynamic. More, I think his thing was more in how he pushed the gestures and stuff, and he just had a way to make things look exciting. I know it's funny that I'm sitting here discussing this with you, Jan, because I think you said that you're not a huge Kirby fan, but hey, you brought it up. Simon Bisley, no, it's not him. I could look it up real quick. Simon Bisley's awesome though. Joe Simon. They're the ones who Kirby and Joe Simon are the ones who worked together in his early career. I appreciate Kirby, but his art never spoke to me as much as a kid. Me neither. As a kid, I was like, why is everybody so into him? But my tastes changed, or I should say they grew, they developed, because I still like the stuff I liked as a kid too. But so my taste of just grew to include more stuff, and I'm sure yours have too. Everybody. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's totally fair. Everybody likes what they like, and and it's cool that you can appreciate it. Still. Yeah, this. I mean, I'm definitely not making this sketch look as pretty as the girl actually is, which is pretty much always the case. So yeah, anybody watching, Jan or James or whoever else is out there, I'd love to hear, what your experiences were like with SHEcember #1, and also, what are you looking at coming up in the new year? Got any what's your art plans for the new year? And I have to say, congratulations to you, Jan, because you really did a lot in SHEcember. Like, you did videos, you did, you were, looks like you're probably going to have a, drawing for every day. Um, and you did more, so yeah. Thanks so much again, for participating, and I loved watching your stuff throughout the um, throughout the month, as I always do with your stuff. But it was cool to see people participating in this challenge, and yours were always cool, for sure. Doo-doo-doo. Oh wow, I gotta catch up. Appreciate a lot more comic artists realizing how hard it is to draw even the basic human interaction sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, man, well said, because, like, um, even like, the Image days, with all those extreme comics and stuff like that. I remember not being into most of the titles. I wanted to see Rob Liefeld draw, and I wanted to see a few of the artists from there, Stephen Platt and Dan Fraga, but a lot of the other artists didn't really excite me. But now that I've done comics and I look back at those comics, I'm like, damn, those guys are better than me now, even. So, I have a great appreciation for anybody who draws comics. It's not easy. And like you said, the situational stuff, like just drawing two people talking over like a cup of coffee, it's not easy. So, alright, let's see if I can catch up with the rest of this. The discipline kicked back in. That's good. That's awesome. You make a pen drawing look good. I struggle with using ballpoint and making it look good. Well, thank you, man. It's just, I think I've always drawn with a ballpoint because it's always just there. So it's like, instead of like trying to dig out like art supplies, maybe like if I'm waiting somewhere at I don't know, like a doctor's appointment, or just being in school. I remember in school, I would draw like in the margins and stuff like that of, the notebook, or just on the notebook or whatever, while I was in class. And you always have a pen. I mean, you also have pencils, but I don't know, for some reason it took for me. I always just enjoyed using a pen, and I even tried to do it in art class. They like, it's funny because they like encourage you to use different mediums and stuff, but then when they saw me drawing with like the big pen, they're like, that's not like a real art tool, like you can't get any gradation with it, and blah blah blah. Like, they tried to discourage me from it, but it was like, no, you can actually get gradation. You're crazy, first of all, and second of all, I like drawing with this pen, and I'm going to draw with this pen. I mean, I didn't end up doing like assignments with it because they seemed to discourage it, but I don't know, I like it. If you like ballpoint pen stuff, check out Kesh on YouTube. He's actually planning on doing the 100 Days of Making Comics a little bit later this year. Hopefully he does it. But he's an amazing artist. He's got a huge following. He's got super fun videos, and his videos are edited really well because he like goes to school for that. But he's a really cool artist, and he does a lot of his art in big pen, or whatever, your basic, pens. And I love his stuff. Doo-doo-doo. Thanks, it helped me get up and running for the New Year's resolution. Awesome. I'm glad. Alright, let's see. Finishing my comic book, yes. And we've spoke about this, so I'm definitely excited to see you working on your comic and finishing it and seeing the comic in my hands. SHEcember, just regret that I couldn't do it. The year coming up, just to do more and get better in the process. Cool. Any specific projects, James? I mean, improvement is, I mean, that's a really good thing. I'm totally down with you with that. Part of what I plan on doing, I'm going to make comics, basically 365 days of making comics, but I'm kind of taking Sundays off, maybe. Like, that's my day where I can take off, but I'm still want to do the same amount of time that, and hopefully more, that would account for that day. So at least a half an hour a day making comics, and and 5 minutes at least a day with warm up sketches. So that's where I'll get the practice in. But again, I want to do more than just the 5 minutes. That's just to kind of get my butt in gear and doing it, you know. But if I don't make that goal of 5 minutes each day, I'm not totally. I won't hate myself. But you know, it's more the comics. That's the main goal. I want to be working on comics like every single day this year for at least 30 minutes a day, except for Sundays where I might do other projects. But I might also still just do comics that day. So I messed up my comics so bad with childish views about what a comic should be that I'm looking at starting from scratch. I feel you. I've gone down that same path for sure. So I definitely know what you mean. And there's nothing wrong with that. It sucks that you probably put a lot of work into it and you want to, move forward. But you know what? I'll tell you one thing. I'll encourage you, and this is something that really helped Mike Emirates too, apparently. Which is another awesome comic artist on YouTube. Check him out. He said people were encouraging him to do a small project first, which it's just kind of funny how it ended up working out for him, but it was helpful to help him get started. And so yeah, I mean, I literally, my first finished comics were mini comics, and I was encouraged to do that by the Art and Story guys, and I did it, and I did it 3 times, and so that helped me get the ball rolling. And now I tend to be doing anthology small stories, and hopefully I'll get to the point where I'll do a large floppy and then move on to graphic novels and all that stuff. So starting small, there's you know too much can't be said about the idea of starting small. Try doing a small project, a little mini comic, a little 6-page story, a 1-page story, whatever, just to get the ball rolling. And then because the thing is what's gonna I don't know what your goals are, like what you want to do with comics and stuff, but for me, I want to do a lot of different stories, a lot of independent, my own, not independent necessarily, but my own intellectual properties. And so for me, I want to get tons of stories out. Comics take a long time, so that's how am I going to do that? So I'm starting with a lot of short stories, and I kind of forgot what my point was going to be there. I don't know, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Is I'm going to do a lot of short stories. And that was the thing I wanted to say was, you do what's going to be your best comic? Is it going to be your first comic you ever made, or is it going to be your 10th comic you ever made? Like, which one's going to be better? So I'm trying to get to my 10th comic, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get just more out, more than and I mean, you don't even have to publish it necessarily, but just getting the work done. I'm trying to get mileage. Personally, the way I do it, I like to publish stuff even if it doesn't look amazing. But I mean, I want to make it look amazing. So I mean, that is the goal too. But But I don't know, I'm trying to just get more than anything, I'm trying to get a lot out, so that I can get to that point where I've done my 10th comic and I'm actually starting to, that's just an arbitrary number, but I'm starting to, by then I'll see progress to a point where I'm actually getting a little mastery over my craft, and stuff like that. So this is the tough part, is adding in like that little shading detail on the face, especially with women. I don't want to put too much. Jan talks about that a lot in his videos. I really love ballpoint though, because it acts like a pencil. It's like a pen that acts like a pencil. I don't know. I love it. Let's see. I'm gonna catch up again with the chat in a minute. I'm just trying to get a little bit of these details in. Using the reference. There's always this side of the face shadows, like there's always shadows there, but I feel like every time I try to put shadows there I screw it up, so I'm gonna stop with that part. Cross hatching also is not like I love it. I grew up, with it, but sometimes that's not necessarily the best decision of a way to create form. It is if you're good at it. I don't know if I'm good at it or not, but I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should have chose this is really the point, is if I should have chose a different way to indicate form than using hatching. Alright, I think I'm going to be about done with this sketch. Let's catch up with the comments. Alright, I was way too focused on making a top-of-the-line comic. It was my first. I wanted to back off and just learn from the process. Yeah, I got you, man. Like I said, man, I'd love to see you do some smaller projects, mini comics, whatever. Sounds familiar. Yeah, right. We all know the struggle. I think it's part of learning to finish projects. Yes, that's a big one. I never start small. It's always a realization I've bitten off more than I can chew, or my expectations are set too high. Yep. All I can do is nod. Yep. Yeah, I backed myself into a corner with how I started. I'm sure J. Scott Campbell could finish it, but not me. So I'll start over and see what happens. Cool. Doing cartoon strips for practice. That's great. That's awesome. Have you been publishing them? Sorry, I should probably know that, but I'd love to check it out. The graphic novel I read that made me want to make my own graphic novel was Blankets. Man, I've heard that is a really good book, and I need to read it. I've heard it so many times. Maybe we can put that on the comic book club thing. If you guys don't know, I'm doing this thing this year. Well, I don't know. We'll see how far it goes, but it's called Comic Book Club, and Jan's involved with it, and other people, and it's a Facebook group, but it's also, you can make a video of it or do a blog post or whatever, but basically every month we're going to agree to all read one like trade paperback or graphic novel, and then sometime during the month we'll create like a video or a blog post, or just chime in the Facebook group what we thought of the book, and kind of learn storytelling and stuff through that process. and just enjoy, the craft that we like to, participate in as well. So, if you're interested in that, you can check out Comic Book Group. I guess I could put a link. Yeah, there's no reason. Hopefully, I can put a link in the thing just in case anybody's interested. Let me just find it real quick. I actually made Comic Book Club. I actually did some work on that page today. Let's see. Here's the link. Hopefully that's clickable. Yeah, it looks like it is. Try stippling. After one drawing, you'll be very happy with cross hatching. Oh man, I know. I've done it. My a cousin of mine, she did this like little, speed video on Instagram of her doing some stippling, and that was the only one I ever saw her do. Because I talked to her, I was like, yeah, that stippling's crazy, isn't it? It's definitely not what I would want to do as a way to, render. But, it is cool. I mean, Mobius, kind of did a sort of like semi-stippling effect a lot of times. And I like that, but that was very limited, stippling generally, compared to like a full piece that's, got that going on. So yeah, I don't know. I might just call that quits as far as the SHEcember sketch. I could do more, but this ended up taking, an hour. It's crazy. It's just a little sketch, but it took an hour. But I did, I don't know. I did try to go in and, make sure the gesture was good and the forms were good. This eye's a little too small. The proportions, like, she's actually kind of more smiling in the picture, and this looks like she's more serious. Here, I can show you guys the picture. I did earlier, too, if you didn't. It's very cute. And then this is... Sorry, maybe I didn't show it for long enough. Yeah. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. And then this. So yeah, another good one, sad but good, is American Widow. Oh, okay, I'll write that down right now. I'll actually write down blankets as well, just so I don't forget it. I don't know what these books are about, but I know, at least with the blankets, that everybody's talked about it. I also heard Superman. There was one that was done by what's his name? Grant Morrison, I think. And I think it was about Superman as an older man. It's interesting. Those seem to be like what produce really good books. I mean, that's what Dark Knight kind of is. The Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns. He's an older man, and then the Superman one is like, people are saying it's one of the best Superman stories that really gets Superman the way it's supposed to be, and it's just really touching story. And then Logan, Old Man Logan, the movie especially, like it's like that's like the old man version of some of these superheroes is like what people tend to really like more than anything. It's interesting. Mark Crilly did a funny stippling video of an ad. It's definitely... Oh, I gotta check that out. Mark Crilly's cool. It's interesting that he did a funny video, because he's so dry, sort of, but he does have some humor in his videos. I'll have to check that out. I'll write it down. Mark Crilly. Ad stippling. Sweet. Well, this has gone for about an hour. So it's gone for an hour and 15 minutes actually. So I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's. I hope you stay safe. I'm gonna keep drawing. I'm gonna be working on this comic and stuff. So maybe I'll jump in a hangout if anybody wants to hang out. There's the Hundreds hangout. I could, no, I don't want to link it here because it's a private group. But if you're involved in the 100 Days of Making Comics Facebook group, or if you're interested, and you're not involved with that, just message me and I can maybe send you a link, or I can do a new link or something. I don't know. I guess I can't send you that link because it's private. So, but yeah, I don't know, Jan, if you want to jump in. I know you're involved, and James, I don't know if you're involved in that group or not. But you're making comics, so you should, if you want to, go check that group out, and you'll see the link. I can put the link to the group. And also Yuri. And anybody else who's watching. The 100s, 100 Days of Making Comics. On Facebook. You are in the group, cool. You just don't stream much. That's cool. It's fun to just hang out, even if you don't put your, camera on and stuff. But yeah, if you don't want to, that's cool too. No problem. I'll pop over and say hi, but I'll be editing Sketchalona too. Cool. So that's the link to the Facebook group. And if you're not joined, yeah, you join and you can click on the link. All right. Thanks everybody who did the 100 days. Thanks for everybody who participated in SHEcember. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you for watching, and thank you for just being involved. You guys were all awesome. I really loved watching everybody's SHEcembers, and we're going to keep doing it every year. We'll create a new prompt list next year. If anybody wants to make suggestions for the prompt list or wants to help out or contribute in any way, hit me up. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun thing to keep learning how to draw these women and stuff and having fun doing it. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you likey. And I will talk to you next time on the next video. And Happy New Year's, and stay safe, please. Please stay safe. Peace out.